Okay, so MTMM Radio, episode 8. Today we're down at Metal Therapy, which is one of our affiliate gyms down here in Melbourne's West. And they have a competition they run every year called Double Dose. So we thought while we're down here setting up and sponsoring and getting amongst it, might be a good opportunity to have a chat about game day nutrition and how that really differs from determined as your day-to-day nutrition. So while we were on location, we decided to relocate because it was just way too windy and way too noisy. But so we're having a bit of a chat about competition-specific nutrition and how that really might differ to day-to-day nutrition. And obviously, depending on the sport that we're talking about, obviously your powerlifters' nutrition, they're going to differ from a typical CrossFit comp. We can go into a little bit about how the different energy systems work and what's more required in terms of an event which is based on max lifts versus something that might be 4 or 5 different aerobic workouts over the course of potentially 1, 2 or 3 days. So I think seeing as we were at a CrossFit competition, maybe it might be a poignant place to start.
Start there and probably we'll only get through that one in
probably,
10 minutes.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do another episode with powerlifting and Ollie specific. And I think Kat would be a really good resource to chat to as well in regards to Ironman triathletes and that sort of stuff too. Mm-hmm. Okay, so competition nutrition. I guess first and foremost, the biggest point to make is for most people is not going to look anything like your general day-to-day nutrition.
I wish, but
for definitely for 95 if not 99% of our clients, my clients especially, what they're doing day to day when our focus is their health, is their body composition goals. Yes, we're trying to get high performance generally day to day, but it's not necessarily the utmost priority like it is on competition day. So we've talked a lot about calories and how many we want and how we come to that number. When we're talking about total daily energy expenditure for a regular day, we usually say that for an activity like CrossFit, for a high intense workout, it's probably going to account for about 30% of your caloric needs. Okay, so on someone who, just run some really quick maths, is on about 2,500 calories who is CrossFitting regularly, we're probably attributing anywhere from 500 to 600 calories a day for those sessions. So off the top of your head, if you're now competing in an event where you've got 4 events in day 1 where your intensity's through the roof, your adrenaline's nice and high, you're getting caught up in all that excitement, well then right there is 2,000 calories, right? So, and this is just on a typical day comp. Now if that comp then goes for 2 days, we're not only eating to get you up and amped for the next event, we're also needing to make sure that we're fueling you well enough that you recover in order to get up and go again in day 2. And this is typically an area that we see most people fall down the longer the competition goes. So if you're coming into day 2 tired, fatigued, cramping, overly sore, and it's a real chore even to warm up, well, MTMM athletes have got you, right? And that's typically something that we see a lot when we're walking around. Competition day is not the time to be trying to get your broccoli in, right? If you're using vegetables to try to reload in between workouts, you're already lost. And so typically what we're talking about and where we're going to get those excess calories from, primarily it's going to be carbohydrate. Okay.
And not only because vegetables are low in terms of calories, but also they're full of fiber, which is going to slow down the digestion of anything else that you're eating and getting those carbs to where you need them to go.
Right, and the volume's going to be quite high, which means you're going to have less stomach space for more of the good stuff.
It's going to feel pretty full when you're out there on the platform.
And bloated.
Yes.
Right? So again, what we would typically see, and we've seen it a few times walking around events like Cam West and FVT, is people coming off an event, maybe having a protein shake, and then they're into the chicken breast and broccoli. On a normal day of day-to-day nutrition, that's probably a perfect meal for them. On a day like competition, where we've just ascertained that our caloric need is probably in the vicinity of 1,500 to 2,000 calories more, you're just not going to get anywhere near that figure eating your veggies.
And when your post-workout meal ends up being as well your pre-workout meal, because you're going to be in another event in the next hour or 2 hours.
Exactly. So we talk a lot about our clients about nutrient timing in general for their one training session, and like you just said, in a situation where you have an hour and a half between events, you are loading up, going into an event, quickly having something again straight afterwards, and then half an hour eating. It's your next meal is your pre-workout meal. So you're basically going pre-workout meal, post-workout meal, pre-workout meal, post-workout meal, pre-workout meal, post-workout meal. Now the same parameters in terms of that post-workout meal are going to remain the same. We're going to want some sort of lean protein to help with recovery. We definitely want it to stay lean. I'm normally with my clients okay if we have like some incidental fats in there. But when we're really trying to fast pace or fast track that kind of carbohydrate requirement absorption, we want very, very minimal. So post-workout might look like something like a protein shake, depending on how much time you have. You have over an hour and a half, maybe some chicken or some tuna. But it's all about the carbs on competition day. Make no mistake about it. And it's not even just about making sure you're getting good carbs and clean carbs, but a lot of the time, again, like I said, if we're needing to get an extra 2,000, 2,500 calories in there, we're going to be playing with things like smoothies, as much fruit, some syrups, some honey, coconut water, any kind of glucose that we can really get in and tap into and be able to utilize is going to be positive.
That's why the lemon lightning balls is always
lemon lightning balls are a perfect one. Yeah. So I guess the inherent fear for someone when we have them on, a calorically controlled protein, carbs, and fats accounted for quite structured meal plan, normally to all of a sudden receive a plan where it's like you have no upper limit on the amount of carbohydrates, or if on a day-to-day your kind of carb level is at 150 to 200 and we're getting you to aim for anywhere from 4 to 450, if not 5. That can be quite a difficult thing to wrap your head around. But it's important to remember that, again, a priority on competition day or competition weekend is performance. We're not worried about coming out on the Monday and being a kilo heavier on the scales. We're not worried that maybe we're a little bit softer than when we went in. It's not the priority. Granted, after the comp, we'll revert back. And if you've been really compliant and you're on program and we know how your body responds to the particular profile we're on, it really only takes a couple of days to get that through the system. But usually the Sunday, the Monday, the days following comp, you're still so fried from a CNS perspective that the additional calories aren't going to hurt you. All right. So you're better off taking a little bit of a hit in terms of leanness or your body comp in order to fast track that recovery so you can get back to what you're normally doing as quickly as possible. Because
if it takes longer to get back to training, then it's going to take longer for your expenditure to get back up to where it's used to being.
Right. And I guess, when we talk about going in and not crushing yourself every day when it comes to training, we're looking at volume in a sense of what you're able to accomplish over the course of a whole week. So if we have clients that come in, if I crush you on day one and you can't walk for 3 or 4 days until you can do your next session, overall your volume for the week is pretty low, right? But if you're coming in and doing a moderate amount 4 or 5 days a week, overall the volume is going to be much higher. Overall your energy expenditure is going to be much higher. Competition's a complete opposite. It's coming in and just getting absolutely crushed and understanding for the next 2 or 3 days after, maybe 4 days, you're going to feel like shit in the gym. That's part of the beast. And that's why we work with our clients to be quite selective when it comes to how many competitions they want to do and how often they want to compete. Because when you start to prepare for competition, you're unable to train right in around that. Everything is directed at getting better for the comp. There's a taper, there's a peak. And then in the time off, you need to be recovering and coming back in slowly. But that can take 2 or 3 weeks till you're really feeling like you're high gear again. Okay? Anyway, we're really starting to tangent away. But the main takeaway, especially for CrossFit, is you need to be, for most people, in a vicinity of almost doubling your intake. And I would say the majority of that needs to come from your carbohydrates. Now, during the day, I would say starting with a really big, hearty meal. Forget your typical kind of breakfast unless it's oats, but something like rice, pasta, plenty of fruit in your bag. Like I said, plenty of coconut water, baby food again. If anyone's been working with any of us and they're going into a comp, that's generally a staple. The lemon lightning bars are really good. And just working to keep up that intake. It gets to a point even where it's like, I'm just not hungry. It's like, you got to keep eating, especially if that's a 2-day competition. Because if you undereat on the first day, even if you feel fine towards the end of day 1, you're going to hit the wall hard on day 2.
And avoiding any specific fat sources of food
during
your competition.
Yeah, during the day. At night,
it's okay.
It's almost a free-for-all, right? Especially if you've only been like sipping and picking. Some clients prefer, they feel like they can't eat much during the day. I know myself, I quite like to try to eat as much real food rather than syrups and stuff as possible. Personal preference, but again, if you're eating less during the day, we're going to want you even like eating more at night so that you can get up and go again for the next day.
Yeah, I thought it was funny at the competition. We saw a lot of trail mix and nuts and that sort of thing as snacks going around, and it's just
there's
not going to help.
The big one is people dipping fruit into peanut butter. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh, I'm so glad like I'm gonna come up against you in the next event.
Yeah.
Because it does make a difference, and at the end of the day, if you're tapped out of glycogen in your muscle stores and you've got an event to go, it doesn't matter how strong-willed you are, it doesn't matter how fit you think you are, how strong you normally are. If you're running on empty, you're running on empty.
Well, I hope this helps. If you have any questions in terms of game day nutrition for CrossFit events, let us know. We're hoping to do one more powerlifting focused, and hopefully Kat will come out and help us do one on the endurance
and Ollie as well.
And Ollie, yes, similar to powerlifting.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you in the next one.
Cheers.
You're welcome.
We come to many CrossFit events.
Do we?